You're watching the NIT on ESPN. From Albuquerque, New Mexico, where the New Mexico Lobos and the Utah Valley Wolverines put their seasons on the line. Here's a look at the NIT bracket. Colorado held on against Seton Hall last night. They await the winner of this one. The biggest shock so far, Hofstra took down the 1-seed Rutgers last night in overtime. Welcome inside one of the top venues in all of college basketball, the Pit. Alongside the coach, Richie Schuler, I'm James Westling. Should be a fun one tonight. What stands out to you most about these two teams?
New Mexico gets a lot of points inside the paint. Utah Valley, the best shot blocking team in the entire country, and they're led by the 7-footer, Aziz Bandago from Senegal. All WAC first defensive team player, newcomer, and defensive player of the year. An outstanding player, shot blocker, long, does a lot of things in the inside, but New Mexico has a couple of weapons at the perimeter. Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Jalen House that give you everything that you could possibly want. Two of the best scorers out of the Mountain West Conference. They hit threes, they get to the basket, they get to the foul line. It's so difficult to stop when they have the ball in their hands.
Utah Valley dressed in the road black. They control the tap. New Mexico, the home team in the whites.
It's going to be important. Utah Valley's got to play physical down inside, and it's exactly how they start the game.
Bandago making his presence felt with a dunk.
We talked about it. New Mexico is going to want to try to attack. They average 36 points per game down inside the paint. They don't take a lot of three-point shots, but they get to the foul line. Some of the best guys at getting to the foul line in the entire country.
They score a ton of points, average over 81 points per game. Alec lost his footing and a walk.
See, you're already seeing Utah Valley collapse down inside Alec. Alec is not a small guy. He's 6'8". And you've got two big men for Utah Valley with their hands straight up in the air, being rim protectors, making it difficult for Utah Valley to get a clean shot inside the paint. That's going to be a challenge for the Lobos all night long.
Utah Valley, they're no slouch on offense either. They average 77 points per. Downhill, Harmon bumped, followed, dunk pops out. And it's controlled by the Lobos.
Yeah, New Mexico's got to start this game like you do every half. You always got to start the first 5 minutes being the aggressor.
Tough one from Jamal Mashburn Jr. One and done for New Mexico. Here comes Utah Valley. Woodbury trailing 3. Barely clipped the rim. Step back pop. It's off the mark from House.
Utah Valley, look for them to play physical on both ends. Difficult to play a team like New Mexico here. It's going to be offensive.
Utah Valley over the back called on Aziz Bandago. That's his first. There's a look at Mark Madsen in his 4th season, 67 and 50. The WAC Coach of the Year, 25 and 8 mark this season. 2-time NBA champion with the LA Lakers.
Coach Madsen's done a phenomenal job building this program now in his 4th season, back-to-back 20-win seasons.
Alec gets a clean look. New Mexico has started 0 for 3 from the field.
Well, they're going to have to win with their defense. That's what they do a lot of times. They force turnovers, New Mexico. They take it on the other end. They get fast break layups a lot of times. One reason they get so many points inside the paint.
Harmon turns the corner, and he's able to feather it in with the scoop shot.
It's always a good time here in Albuquerque at New Mexico. You hear the crowd already getting into it early.
How do the Lobos get a bucket?
Well, you know what? I think if they can increase the pace of play, if they can dictate the tempo, I think it's going to help them. You're playing in the half court right now. It's challenging to score against a team like, look at this. Look at the outstretched hands of Tim Fuller, Aziz Bandago down inside. Hard to get layups. That's what New Mexico usually does.
Stays on this end with the Lobos. There is Richard Pitino in his 2nd season. Over 190 career wins. He's won an NIT title when he was at Minnesota. Took the Gophers to 2 NCAA tournaments. Pocket pass and an easy one at the iron for Alec.
And New Mexico's going to have to do that. They're going to have to score inside quick. They're going to have to match the physicality from Utah Valley.
Something these programs have in common. They're both on the rise. A win for Utah Valley would set a new single-season record for wins. Meanwhile, New Mexico, they've gone from 6 to 13 to 22 victories their last 3 seasons. Udeze.
He's so long, isn't he?
Bandago able to rip it down.
bust it out.
And a foul. So put Utah Valley at the line. Trey Darthard, who's the leading scorer for the Wolverines at over 14 per game.
Coach Mark Madsen talked about how he's always getting up open shots, doing everything he can to make himself better as a basketball player, and it's paid off for him.
Fouls on Mashburn, that's his first.
Darthard, his third year with Utah Valley. His first year with him, scored 6 points a game. The next year he was up to 10. And this year he's filled up the box score. As you said, 14, gets 3.5 boards, gets you a steal every game. So he's an all-defensive team member as well as a first-teamer all around.
What do you think about the energy early on from Utah Valley? They look like a team that wants to be here, even though they suffered a gut-wrenching loss in their conference tournament.
You're totally right, man. I mean, they had 25 wins. They tied the program record, and they still could break it with a win here at Utah Valley in their Division I era. And they go to the semifinals expecting to win. They lost a 23-point lead in the second half. Wow, great job, by the way, by Udeze over top of Bandego, who's a phenomenal shot blocker. But for Utah Valley to come in here, heartbroken after that devastating semifinals comeback loss on Friday. They had all kinds of energy here at shoot-around today, and here they are playing fantastic here in the early goings of the game.
Woodbury hits his 61st three of the season. This team can fill it up from deep. Next dead ball will send us to our first media timeout. House gets into the lane. Teardrop drips in.
And that's what the Lobos do so well. They're so good at getting the ball on one side of the key or the other, or being on the wing and driving middle. That tears down a defense. When you drive middle, there's no help side. And there's Jalen House with another steal. It's what he does.
Thought about the three. Johnson, the hoist, and he hits. You mentioned the steal from House. That's number 83 on the season. He's just one away from tying the single-season program record, 2 to break it. Darthard runners an air ball.
Push it if you're New Mexico. There it is.
Alec saves it to Johnson. House trying to recover. Johnson pulls the trigger. Offensive rebound. Block and a foul. Udeze will head to the line to shoot a pair.
Udeze's been fantastic. Gets the offensive rebound just a moment ago against a guy that averages 3 blocks per game. Bandego got him up in the air and still scored a bucket on him. And then on the other end, just after that play, it's Woodbury, the leading scorer for Utah Valley, nailing the 3-point shot.
A close one so far here inside the pit in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Utah Valley leads it by a point. This Wolverines team was preseason picked 7th in the WAC. They won the regular season title, their 2nd in the last 3 years. We talked about that loss they had in the semis to Southern Utah. They're led by Trey Woodbury. He does it all, and they have the WAC Defensive Player of the Year in Bandego. This is a Utah Valley team that they're on the rise. They do a lot of things really well. Finished with a net ranking of 74th. This is their 2nd NIT appearance. They went back in 2014.
They've been doing a great job under Mark Madsen, man. His 4th year, like I said, this is the 2nd year in a row. They've won 20 or more games. They've been one of the better teams out west.
Udeze at the line for New Mexico, a 64% shooter on the year, but he's been much better at 73% in his last 6 games.
And that right there is their only point that hasn't been scored down inside the paint. I like what Richard Pitino's group is doing. They're attacking the paint. They're not allowing the statistics from Utah Valley. Best block, shot block team in the country, best blocks per game, total blocks, blah, blah, blah. They're not letting them bother. They're still playing their style. They're attacking the paint. They're not worried about the shot blockers. They're going into their chest to create space. They're using the shot fake to get them off their feet, and they're finishing around the basket. It's been quite impressive. Pause
in the action due to a shot clock malfunction. Ethan Potter has entered for Utah Valley. The Wolverines are without Tim Caesar, their top post player, off the bench, so the freshman Potter will play a lot tonight. Darthur throws it away. New Mexico wants to run. House takes it himself. Woodbury there to claim it.
Well, that's what they do. They dictate tempo. But look at Utah Valley right back at him. Oh, couldn't make the left.
House with his head on a swivel. Big steps. Udeze's foul going up.
Oh, he's not happy with himself. He thought he should have made that layup. You teach your players, no matter what, even if you get fouled, you've got to finish that shot. Reward yourself the three-point play. This is a great pass by House, just kind of dumped it down to Udeze. Here's the thing, that shot got off because New Mexico used their transition offense. This is going to be an area of concern for Utah Valley all night. They have to reduce points in the paint, and you can do that by making your transition defense really strong. I mean, points in the paint, we all think half court. But you get a lot of those points in the paint off layups going the other way in transition.
First lead of the night for New Mexico. Morris Udeze at the line. In his last 7 games, 20.6 points per game, 10.4 rebounds per contest. What do you like about his play?
Udeze, oh, I love him. He draws 6 fouls per game. He gets to the free throw line an awful lot. You've just seen him taking a few here. He's a 64% free throw shooter. You wish that could be a little bit higher, but he's getting fouled an average of 6 times per game. That's 50th in the NCAA.
Splits the pair. Fuller. 3-on-3 for the Lobos. Mashburn hunting his shot, left it short. He has started 0 for 3 from the field. Small with 8 to shoot. Against Mashburn. In some trouble, wild shot, and there's Udeze to pluck it.
It's great defense by Mashburn. He stayed down, forced a shot, got a piece of it.
Tough one for the freshman Donovan Dent. They love him here in Albuquerque. He was the 2022 California Mr. Basketball winner, a very highly touted freshman.
What we're talking about, it's all about transition defense. Utah Valley can stop New Mexico from getting buckets in transition, fast breaks, whatever it may be. They're going to be okay, but they've already given up some transition buckets in this early going.
Down to 5 to shoot. Potter. Miss. Fuller stick back. Powers it down. And 1.
Well, you know, we keep talking about how fast New Mexico is up and down the floor. You just referenced this right here. Great job by Mashburn and the pass up. And then Donovan Dent gets the ball about half court off the ball screen and just takes it all the way to the rack. No help side rotation. Utah Valley on the other side. You talked about Ethan Potter coming into the game. He missed the shot in the follow-up by the senior Tim Fuller.
Caps off the old-fashioned three-point play.
So this is what you want if you're Utah Valley. You want New Mexico to have to walk the ball up the floor in half court, but it's going to be important. Utah Valley has to understand that New Mexico is going to try to drive them to the middle of the paint. That's where your defense gets broken down. A lot of coaches have that philosophy. And if you can force them baseline, in my opinion, that's how I like to play defense. You force them baseline, that's where your help side rotation is.
Dent short on that one. Utah Valley's done a nice job of keeping New Mexico off the offensive glass. Harmon burrows and scores, +1.
They need a lot of that. I really like the way Utah Valley shares the basketball. They get their post players involved. You get ball reversals. You get the ball to the big man, and then they hand off. Harmon able to absorb the contact and finish with the N1.
Alongside the coach, Richie Schuler, I'm James Wesley. New Mexico coach Richard Pitino in his second season led the Lobos to a 7-win improvement last year, won an NIT championship in 2014 at Minnesota, and they have beaten 4 teams this season that won their regular season conference title: Iona, St. Mary's, San Diego State, and Oral Roberts.
Wow. Well, could be 5 if they beat Utah Valley, right?
Yeah.
They were picked to win the WAC. How about that? So he's won an NIT championship. He's been there before. He did that in year 1 at Minnesota. Here he is at New Mexico in year 2. And you look at some of the accomplishments they had in Minnesota in year 1, kind of similar to some of the accomplishments they've had at New Mexico since he's been there this year.
Tough shot from Mashburn. New Mexico enjoying their first 20-win season since 2014. They went 27-7.
So I think they do a good job in Utah Valley. Move it around, they loosen up the defense. You get 2 or 3 ball reversals, defenses loosen up. It opens up for drives and opportunities to score around the paint.
Shot clock into single digits. Harmon curls, runner off. And a foul underneath.
Bandego was struggling to get his hand on the ball. Ball's bobbling around his hand, so that's a foul while he's trying to rebound the ball around the basket.
Fouls on Sebastian Forsling, the sophomore from Sweden.
I'd like to know what Bandego's wingspan is. He's long. He's got great timing. It's not just, oh, you're tall, you got to be a great shot blocker. No, you have to have timing and know when to do that.
Left that one short. House collects for the Lobos. Udeze bothered by Bandego down low. Wild miss.
He had to go to his weak hand, too. He had to go to his left.
Potter pulls the trigger. 4 Lobos in the neighborhood for the rebound. Dent wants to push.
Oh, look at the movement. Look at that kick out.
Jenkins for a 3. Offensive rebound. House, a long-range 3s off the heel. New Mexico has started 5 of 17 from the field. They've made just 1 of their last 8 shots.
And you see, the players that don't shoot the ball, they're flying in for offensive rebounds. You have to block out just about every Lobo. That's the thing, is they took that early shot before their defense wasn't set, so it was kind of hectic, right? And so you got offensive rebounders getting in there, and the defense is still in set. They're going to get another rebound. So good at just attacking and making you uncomfortable as a defense.
Both these teams shooting below 30% here to start. Jenkins probing. That is KJ Jenkins, who averages almost 8 points per game off the bench.
Yeah, he can score, though. He had a 17-pointer when Iona came to town, and Mr. Rick Pitino was the head coach in the opposing bench.
Nields 3, got it. Off balance.
Great job. Is that off a handoff? Beautiful play, using your teammate to shield off the defense.
New Mexico throws it away. Small against Jenkins, and he lays it in. A quick 5 for the Wolverines.
You can't afford to give up those kind of plays. Utah Valley is an excellent team. They've come here to win. I'm telling you, I was really impressed. They didn't have their head down. They weren't depressed that they'd lost in the WAC semifinals. If they had lost a big lead, they were ready to go. They want to win the NIT.
Udeze muscles through Bandego. Is that the best way to attack him? Go right at him?
You go right at him. You lower that body. You go into his chest. And he's also, Udeze is much more physical and stronger than Bandego. Use that physicality to your advantage.
Harmon, and 1. Justin Harmon, up to 6 points to lead all scorers.
Terrific finisher. He drives into the paint. You see what he can do. He splits defenders, gets fouled. He just got fouled in like 3 different places.
Fouls on Josiah Alec, and that's his 2nd. That's a starter for New Mexico. One of the top 3 rebounders in the Mountain West Conference at 7.3 boards per game.
Justin, the best drummer on the team. Jason, sports information director, was telling us how he actually packs green drumsticks because Justin was a drummer in the church choir and band growing up. And so a lot of times the shoot-around, if the drums are set up, they'll go to the opposing drum set and start playing it and give a show for his teammates.
His dad's a preacher, said he picked up the drums in about the 4th grade. Largest lead for anybody so far. Shot clock at 8, House a long way from the rim. Jenkins off balance, bailed out by a whistle.
Utah Valley has made their last 3 shots. They're 3 of 3. It was a 3-point shot by Blaze Neal, knocked it down, and then the steal fast break, Taj Small finishing. And then how can you forget this one right here? Little dribble weave action, and look what it leads to. Harmon to the basket with the and 1.
All right.
Six-point lead for Utah Valley. 25-8, a win here tonight. Will set the new single-season program record for victories. They were an independent from 2003 to 08. Then they were members of the Great West Conference from 08 to 2013. They joined the WAC for the 2013-2014 season. An enrollment of over 40,000 students.
Wow. That's double New Mexico. They're about 21, 22,000. I tell you though, right now, New Mexico's on pace for 53 points. That would be the lowest of the season. They had a 56-point game. They actually lost to Wyoming here in the pit earlier in the season. Here's the deal though. They're 0 of 6 from 3. They're 7 of 14 from 2-pointers. And so they're trying to hit threes because they got so many shot blockers down inside for Utah Valley, right? So you're trying to spread it out, hit threes. Oh, man.
Sweet pass from Woodbury. Fuller with the thunderous dunk.
It's the second time we've seen that. They did that the very first possession, if I remember right.
Mashburn still hasn't scored. 0 for 5 from the field to start. Averages almost 20 per night. Harmon left alone, and he splashes it in.
My goodness. Timeout by Richard Pitino. Didn't feel like they came out ready to play defense. I mean, great job by the Wolverines stopping the Lobos on the defensive end. They're not knocking down 3-point shots, the Lobos. They're getting some 2s, but as of late, it's all Utah Valley. They made 5 of their last 5 shots. The alley-oop to Fuller off the drive from Woodbury. And then they come back down the floor in the ensuing possession. They knock down a 3-point shot in transition without the defense set. It has been all Utah Valley. Coming out of the WAC conference, the net rankings and Ken Baum give the WAC conference the 11th best conference in the country. Great job by the commissioner, Brian Thornton, who's electrified the conference as of late and done some great things. And what a job Coach Madsen's done.
2-time NBA champion with the LA Lakers. Had a great collegiate career at Stanford in the late 90s and early 2000s. Spent 8 years in the NBA. Backdoor House lays it in.
There you go. Richard Pitino drawing up a terrific ATO, and after timeout play, he gets the crowd back into it. They're finally making some noise again.
Harmon. Up to 12 points for Utah Valley.
I love his ability to drive. I've seen him go back to the basket and back down guards all the way inside the paint. New Mexico's got to knock down some of these outside shots. You're not going to get a ton of great looks down inside. But see, that's exactly what I said earlier. Udeze, he goes into a player in Bandego, averages 3 blocks per game. It's a defensive player in the year out of the Western Athletic Conference, but he goes into his chest. He uses his strength, makes Bandego back up to create space, and then he makes a layup around the basket with Bandego underneath the rim.
And Bandego doesn't want to pick up his second foul. Tough turnaround from Woodbury and a foul underneath. They'll call it on Udeze. Should be on Mashburn.
Well, here's Udeze. We just talked about it. Watch him use his physicality. He goes into the chest of Bandego. makes him back up. So he gets close to the baseline, and then Odeze just goes right up, because by that point, it's pretty much indefensible.
Woodbury knocks it down from mid-range, and he's a player that has a new position this year in his 5th year. They moved him to point guard, which he played in high school, but it took him a while to get reacclimated with the position. Coach Madsen said he is now thriving. Mashburn will try to get in the book from the foul line. He has started 0 for 5 from the field. The foul will be on Woodbury, and that's going to be number 2 on the star point guard for Utah Valley.
Mashburn, he's a 38% three-point shooter, but he's what I call a mid-range master. He's an elite mid-range shooter, according to Richard Pitino, and he got fouled there because everybody knows it.
ESPN's Tournament Challenge men's and women's brackets are open. So scan the QR code to download the app, then fill out your brackets and get ready for the madness. The men's games, the bracket challenge closes tomorrow at noon Eastern, and the women's game closes Friday morning at 11:30 Eastern time. Mashburn hits the free throw. He is on the board. Started 0 for 5 from the field. Why has he struggled so much offensively?
A lot of length on this Utah Valley team. I think that's a big part of it. Oh, wow!
A foul before the dunk on the floor.
Oh. Yeah, it's like Utah Valley is getting up the floor without New Mexico set up on defense. Look, he just drives it baseline. I think it's a really smart foul by Odeze. It looks like he did it on purpose because he realized there was no help side rotation. You know, if you get beat off the bounce, you should know that you have a teammate there that's your insurance policy. That if you get beat, at least you have somebody there that can help you until you can recover it. Nobody was there. Udeze recognized that. He had to foul.
Harmon up to a baker's dozen. He has 13 points. Leads all scorers. Ethan Potter re-enters the lineup for the Wolverines. A true freshman that they really like. Harmon gets them both to drive.
So move the ball around if you're New Mexico. Get some passes, get Utah Valley out of position, and use your ability to drive the ball. But they're getting some shots around the basket. Like, that's a great pass by Mashburn.
Udeze blocked by the rim, and a jump ball. And it'll stay on this end with New Mexico.
Fans wanted a foul. Let's see if it's what it was. Great pass by Mashburn. Shot fake. They didn't really bite on it too much. I didn't see a foul, and he also didn't let go of the ball. I think they're saying that Utah Valley tied up the ball. That's a good call.
It'll stay with the Lobos. New Mexico's made 4 of their last 5 shots, but Utah Valley's just as hot. They've made 7 of their last 8.
Utah Valley looks like they're in a zone alignment on the out-of-bounds play. Now they're going back matching up.
Alec, blocking foul. They will count the basket.
I'd like to know who that call was on.
Call it on number 5. That is
Tim Fuller.
Tim Fuller for Utah Valley.
So look at number 5, Tim Fuller. He's coming from the right side. He's the help side rotation. Why is that a foul right there? Because Alec didn't have a chance to catch the ball. I don't know what they're calling here, but he didn't have a chance to catch the basketball and land before Fuller created contact with him. So they're saying no shot. They're taking him off the free throw line, and they're making him inbound the ball.
That was the 6th foul on Utah Valley. So the foul was on the floor. House a long 2. And the rebound ripped down by Darthur.
It's a really tough shot with 2 guys in his face. Great pass. Look at that. Wide open.
And it's in. Trey Darthur shoots 38% from deep, and Utah Valley leads by 13. Mashburn's rebuttal is short. Right back to him.
Reset the offense. You have time.
Foul out on the perimeter. How's Utah Valley been able to build their largest lead of the night?
I mean, they're making great plays with the basketball. Look, on this particular play, they drew in the defense. Look at this. The defense collapses. House collapses, and it leaves a wide open Darthur in the corner. So if you can use your ability, your quickness, your speed your ball handling ability to beat defenders off the bounce. You're going to draw in defenders, and it's going to leave wide open shots along the wings and corners. That's what happened. Utah Valley is playing really strong defense. They've held New Mexico to 36% from the field, and then they're going on the other and making shots. They're 4 of 7 from 3. They're getting shots around the basket. They're getting dunks. I've been to the pit a dozen times. This place is silent right now.
Couple of free throws from Johnson. Trims it to 11. Keep in mind, Utah Valley built a 23-point lead in the second half against Southern Utah. Lost in the tournament semifinals. Baker falling down. Harmon cannot miss. 16 points in this first half.
Fantastic. Gosh, he looks good. This crowd is just, they're just struck right now.
Allen. Stop and pop. Pops out.
Good move. Great move. They're not finishing.
Slashing Neal pulls up. Fuller. Darford lines it up. In and out.
New Mexico dodged a bullet there. That looked like a really good shot from a great shooter.
New Mexico, they have not made a field goal in almost 3 minutes. And a foul on the freshman Ethan Potter. 13-point lead for the Wolverines.
We're seeing a lot from Justin Harmon. You mentioned it, 16 points on 6 of 10 shooting. Look at this shot. What else can you do as a defense? He's got 4 hands in his face. He still knocks it down off the glass.
Welcome back to the pit, where Utah Valley has built a 13-point advantage alongside the coach Richie Schuler. I'm James Westling. Now, New Mexico, they don't take a lot of threes. So how do they get back in this game?
Well, you're right. I mean, they got 18 points in the paint right now, all right? And they average 36 points per game in the paint. So they're doing a good job in the paint. They already got half of what they're expected to get. They got to keep attacking, all right? But here's the thing about it. You mentioned they don't take a lot of threes. Only 27% of their shots each game are 3-point shots. That's 11th fewest in the entire country. So when they get behind like this, it's hard for them to come back because they're not taking a lot of threes. Their offense is more designed for a lot of driving opportunities. Now, hopefully they can drive and kick, but they have to complement themselves. They're 0-6 from behind the arc.
Harmon wanting more, and he has it. He's up to 18. New Mexico's largest deficit they've overcome this season was 12 against San Francisco. They were down 38-26 and won 67-64. They're down 15.
Right. Like I said, this crowd is a little bit stunned right now.
Mashburn. Udeze. +1. The foul on Bandego, and that's his second. He'll have to sit for the final 3 and change.
I like Udeze getting the ball more down inside the paint to help the Lobos come back. This is a great drive by Harmon. That gives him his 17th and 18th point. And then the mid-range miss, another miss from mid-range, which is rare for Mashburn. Instead of getting the ball inside the paint from a post-up opportunity, Udeze gets the ball in an offensive rebound. Right now, he is their best offense.
Can't hit the free throw. He already has 10 points and 8 rebounds. We touched on this earlier. In his last 7, he's averaging 20 points and over 10 rebounds per game. He's pacing for that mark and more. Woodbury measures. Harmon. Banker, he's up to 20 in the first half. He got popped in the grill.
Oh, man.
Got hit in the mouth.
20 points in the first half. Look at him. He's a tough young man. He's tough. Nobody blocked him out. Anytime the shot is taken from the wing or opposite corner, 90% of the time it's going to bounce towards the opposite side. That's exactly where Harmon was waiting for the ball. Nobody blocked him out. He gets the putback.
Almost has a new career high before halftime. His career high is 24. Up to 20.
There you go.
Udeze.
Yes.
Banks it through. He's up to 12.
Yes. Lobos need more Udeze in their life right now. 12 points.
The New Mexico guards are the ones struggling. House and Mashburn a combined 2 for 13 from the field, just 4 points. Whistle and a walk. Third turnover on Utah Valley.
Now, Harmon's come out of the game since then. Look in the bottom left of your screen. He's fighting, and right here on the way down, completely incidental. Udeze goes up to try to block his shot. When he comes down, his swinging left hand hit Harmon in the face. I like this. Keep going to him. Feed the beast. Let him go to work.
Throws it up. Rebound Fuller. And a foul over the back. It will be on Udeze.
So right now they're in a place where they have to force. They've got to force down inside. They can't let this get out of hand. Three-point shot's not falling. But I do think the best thing to do for the Lobos is get the big man going inside.
How do they get the guards going? Ashburn and House, 6 combined points, but they're 2 for 13 from the field between the two.
0-7 from Ashburn. Yeah, I mean, usually they get a lot of their buckets by attacking the basket, drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line. And look who it is. Harmon back in the game. I mean, House, for example, draws 5.5 fouls per game. He gets to the free throw line almost at will. And you know what? I mean, Utah Valley's doing a great job of taking away their transition for the most part throughout the course of the game. They get a lot of their points in the transition when the defense is unknown. They don't know what's coming at them. And, you know, they attack. And I tell you, Utah Valley, their ability to shot block, their ability to rim protect is giving them problems. Not there, though. Great drive.
Donovan Dent with the basket.
When Bandego comes out of the game at 3 blocks per game, it does change their defense.
Harmon with the ball. He's got 20. Nice pass.
Everybody has their eyes on Harmon. They get on him, double, triple team him on his drives, and he just dishes it down. He's a smart, high IQ player.
Fuller with the bucket. He's quietly putting together a really nice half. Talk on the other end for Udeze.
Starting to see him come alive a little bit. And think about it. If they can keep this at about a 10-point game, and they come out in the second half and play the way they normally do, and they're knocking down some threes along the process, it's going to be a different second half.
Fuller. Baby J is in off the window. 9 points for Fuller.
We're seeing some great post play on both sides, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Dent. Out of bounds to Utah Valley.
Yeah, we talked about the post play. How about Udeze right here? It's a great dish by the point guard, Dent. Left him wide open, and it's Utah Valley on the other side. Fuller. It's just great. I mean, look at this. You got to go over your left shoulder with the defense on you and knock it off the glass.
Sebastian Forsling enters the lineup, the 7-footer for New Mexico. They put him on Fuller. Fuller shoots 67% from the field.
Use as much clock as you can. You don't want New Mexico to get another shot off if you can help it. Have a clean one.
About 5 seconds between game and shot. Harmon lost it on the way up. 7 to shoot.
Plenty of time. Get it out. Get a ball screen top of the key. Let them go to work. Attacking the rim.
Harmon's the trigger man. Has a game-high 20. Woodbury has to run it down. A player, an air ball, and a shot clock violation.
This is good for New Mexico. I think they might put a little more time on the clock, maybe. Well, maybe not. It's going to be 3.7. Taking the ball side out in front of their bench. I mean, you're going to get a good clean shot off here if you're good. I mean, you get at least 3 dribbles here. Maybe even a pass to go along with it. You should be able to get a clean look to the basket or from the outside. Maybe knock down their first 3 before the half. Coach Patino's calling both coaches are calling them to the benches. I think they're going to put more time on the clock.
They'll take a look. 46-33. Utah Valley leads by 13. Put 4.3 on the timer. What's impressed you most about the Wolverines tonight?
Well, what's impressive is how well they're shooting the basketball efficiently. They're at about 50%, and they're, same about three-point shooting. They're like 4 of 9. So they have a great balance of scoring the basketball, and they're making some difficult shots. Now, is Justin Harmon helping that? Absolutely. He has 20 points, but I've been really impressed with their defense. Held New Mexico to under 40%. They haven't let them knock down a three yet. Lobos are 0 of 6. I just feel like rebound-wise, that's another advantage Utah Valley has. They're +7 on the boards. That's huge.
This New Mexico crowd scratching their heads because the last time out against Utah State, Taylor Funk of Utah State, he had 21 at halftime. Harmon's got 20.
Get to the basket. Get to the basket.
Dent. Scooper short. Utah Valley has carved out a 13-point halftime lead. 46-33, and Justin Harmon has a game-high 20 points, and he's done it on only 12 shots.
It's fantastic. 8 of 12. He's knocked down a three-point shot. He's got offensive putbacks. He's done a great job of attacking the glass. He's been what I like to say in fuego.
Utah Valley, the WAC regular season champs. A win tonight would set the new program record for wins in a season. They look like champs in the first half. 46-33, Utah Valley on top. Welcome back to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where the Lobos trail Utah Valley by 13. It's 46-33 in favor of the visitors. Cincinnati and Virginia Tech, that game has gone final. A 9-point win for the Bearcats. Colorado awaits the winner of this one. Welcome back inside the pit with the coach, Richie Schuler. I'm James Westling. Morris Udeze for New Mexico has 14 points and 9 rebounds. Nobody else has more than 4 points for the Lobos. What do you like about his play in the first half?
He's been the biggest, brightest spot for Utah Valley. He's a lot of strength, a lot of physicality, a guy that really uses his body to get some points inside. 6 of 9. All those points are down in and around the basket. He's made just a couple of free throws, though, on 5 opportunities. But look, he gets it, really benefited from that dump off right there and finishes strong. And then you have on the other side, how about Justin Harmon from Utah Valley? 8 of 12 from the field, 20 points, hit a three-point shot. Pretty much unstoppable around the basket in the first half. He was outstanding.
4 threes for the Wolverines. New Mexico 0 for 6 in the first half of action. Harmon gives it up, and Bentego hammers it down.
We saw that in the beginning of the game, too. I mean, it was an alley-oop play to start it off for Utah Valley, and they did it again in the second half. I tell you, New Mexico's got to get their guards going. Mashburn Jr., Jalen House, get them going to the basket, knocking down outside shots, getting to the free throw line because they drew fouls. They have to have those two playing well.
Shot clock, down to 3 for Udeze, spinning. Didn't hit the rim. That's a shot clock violation. It was an air bank.
So Udeze, I like how they keep going down inside to him. How about on the other end? On the very first play, it's Harmon to Bandego for the dunk down inside. I love it. Just beautiful right here. I'm telling you, they started out both halves with a dunk. That electrifies their offensive team, their bench.
Yeah, the exact same play. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Garthard, runner. Rebound Udeze. He has a double-double now, 14 points and 10 rebounds. Mashburn assertive. Bandego snatches it.
I like him going to the basket. Got to finish some, though.
Pull-up 3, Darthard, down and out. Bandego stuck down low.
Nice shot fake.
Long 2. And it's collected by the Lobos.
Push it, push it.
House weaving up and under, yes.
That's the Lobos basketball I'm used to seeing right there. They need a little bit more of that here in the second half than they did in the first.
Jalen House averages 17 per game. He has 6. Poked out of bounds, stays on this end.
Well, one thing that New Mexico does a great job of is pushing the basketball when they have numbers. Look at this. House giving the okey-doke, the in-between, really beat like 3 defenders all the way to the basket.
Look at these numbers tonight for the New Mexico guards. Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. Just 8 combined points.
Morris Adeze is carrying the load. They are 3 of the top 7 scorers out of the Mountain West Conference this season. All 3 of those players scored 500 or more points in this season.
Mashburn still 0 for from downtown and from the floor. He's 0 for 9. Blocking foul called on House. And remember, New Mexico coach Richard Pitino told us at shoot-around, we asked him who's the #1 guy that has to have a big game. He said Morris Udeze because he's never worried about the guards. They always get theirs. They're consistent. Tonight, though, an off night.
I mean, it's his 15th double-double on the season. Same with Bandego for Utah Valley. He's got 15 on the season as well. He's got 2 dominant post players. How is he so wide open?
A second thought 3 for Woodbury. Money.
I mean, he could have ordered and drank a cup of coffee in the time it took them to recover to him to knock down that 3-point shot.
Largest lead of the game, 16 for Utah Valley. Udeze lost it. Late whistle, a foul. It's on Bandego, and that's number 3 on the big.
So you got to do something before this gets completely out of control. You're down 13 at the half if you're New Mexico. Now you're down 16. Look at Woodbury. The pass up top. Okay, I see why now. There was somebody fell on the ground. I think that was House. Fell down inside the paint. I didn't see that in live time.
Mashburn.
Oh, man, he is missing so many of those shots. He's great at. He's great at that mid-range shot.
0 for 10. A block. What the follow from Fuller? He's been all over the floor for Utah Valley.
Utah Valley had 4 dark jerseys in the paint ready to follow up that shot. Quite impressive.
Double figures with 11.
Moving to the basket off the ball.
Harmon wants to push tempo. Wild shot. Oh, he hit it anyway. 22 for Justin Harmon.
20-point lead.
How did he do that?
New Mexico fans are stunned. They're not happy. Nothing going right for the Lobos.
Allen chips it in.
But a lot of these shots that New Mexico usually makes, these mid-range shots by Mashburn, he's missed 3 or 4 of those at least. They still haven't knocked down a 3-point shot. They're 0 of 7. But despite the fact that their offense is struggling, they've given up 55 points in the first 34 minutes of this game.
Timeout on the floor. It's an 18-point lead for Utah Valley.
A lot of damage by Utah Valley. How about Fuller? He's got 11 points in the game so far tonight. The big man down inside, and then Harmon. Look at this. Nothing can stop him. Harmon with 22 on 9 of 14 shooting.
New Mexico season recap. They were the last remaining undefeated team this season. They started 14-0, finished 8-11. We asked Coach Pitino what the difference was, and he said, well, the biggest thing was the schedule. It got a lot tougher.
Oh, the Mountain West Conference. That's what he's talking about. They entered conference play. Look at this. Right now, out of the Mountain West, 6 teams playing in the postseason. They got 4 NCAA tournament bids. New Mexico here in the NIT, and then San Jose State, who had the best player in the league, and Omar Moore, who's in the CBI. Think about that. The player of the year in their team is in the CBI. That's how good that league is.
That was a nice move by Ethan Potter on the other end. Steele Darther drops it off, and the finish from Harmon. He has tied a career high, 24 points.
The Wolverines are able to do anything they want in this game. They've come out. They're playing better now in the second half than they were in the first.
Turnover, New Mexico, their 5th. 22-point lead for the Wolverines, their largest of the night. They've outscored New Mexico 13-4 to start this second half.
Mashburn with 2 points. Mashburn led the Mountain West Conference in scoring this season. In conference play, he was 21 points per game. Tonight, 2 on 0 of 10 shooting. His 1 bucket's come from the free throw line. He struggled. Jalen House is 3 of 8 with 6 points. He's 17 points per game on the season. What a defensive job from Utah Valley.
Shot clock into single digits. Woodbury goes to work. Harmon in the corner. Finally a miss. Out of bounds. It'll stay on this end with the Wolverines. Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi are back this year for the women's Final Four and championship game with their alternate broadcast on ESPN2 and ESPN+. They'll be commenting on play as it happens and interacting with you, the viewers. Join the conversation at #BirdTaurasi. House pull-up. It is one and done for New Mexico. Utah Valley all over the glass in this second half. Mashburn. Allen, yes.
So New Mexico's bench is pleading with their team, after you score, get up and pressure full court. You're down 20 points, but I like what Mashburn did there. He drove to the basket, he dumped it down because they did such a great defensive job on him. Gonna have opportunities to get free throws too. They just keep attacking.
Woodbury's pull-up pops out. Mashburn with the rock, gives it up. Udeze barrels in and draws a foul. Third foul on Ethan Potter. Udeze's 2 for 5 from the foul line tonight.
Free throw shooting is not his strength. It's not terrible. We talked about a little bit ago. I think it's 64%. And he gets fouled a lot. And so if he's one of those guys that if he had like a 70+% free throw percentage, I mean, he'd probably average 2 or 3 more points per game.
He's now 2 for 6 tonight. New Mexico as a team, they've attempted the 6th most free throws in the nation, but tonight they're not making them. 7 of 13 from the line as a unit.
Richard Pitino electing to play some new players here coming into the game.
He's going to bring in Barima Sack. Udeze missed them both. It's been that kind of night for New Mexico here at home, and Utah Valley has completely taken the crowd out of this one. Woodbury a fall away 3. Udeze claims rebound number 15.
Need it, they need it.
It's in and out from Jenkins.
Nothing is dropping. Look at the fast break, good defense.
All the misses from New Mexico, and they have just 6 offensive rebounds. 20-point lead for Utah Valley. The pit has been quiet here in Albuquerque. Alongside Richie Schuler, I'm James Westling. Utah Valley has built a 20-point lead over New Mexico. And a lot of times, Richie, the NIT winner, that championship can really carry a team into the offseason for the next year. A lot of times those teams go to the NCAA tournament, sometimes make deep runs the very next year. Look at this, the last 5 NIT champions, they're all in this year's NCAA tournament field.
That's awesome. A lot of contenders there for the NIT championship in Vegas here in a couple of weeks as well. A lot of times you have teams that win the NIT that are kind of kickstarting, right? They got a new coach, things are going well, and that's finally something good for New Mexico going to the basket. But on the NIT teams, all those squads now have gone on. They're at the NCAA tournament, and got a lot of teams that are going to be contending this year, I think, making deep runs.
There's Donovan Dent, the freshman, with the impressive scooper on the other end. Woodbury, that's an air ball. Pandego trying to save it, and he was out of bounds. Xavier's a perfect example. They won the NIT last year. They're a 3 seed in this year's big dance.
With the interim head coach, Jonas Hayes. I used to coach against back in the D2 days in North Carolina.
Utah Valley, they had a 13-point lead at the half. They've led by as many as 22, and they have a steal. Neal, miss. Dent has it. Good move. Jenkins probing. Mashburn looking for his first bucket. He has it. His first field goal up the night is a 3, able to whoosh it through. It's the first 3 of the night for the Lobos. Small's rebuttal is good. Quiets the crowd.
Backbreaker, just when you thought things were opening up for New Mexico. The crowd wanted to feel Jamal Mashburn knock down a shot. He finally did. Crowd went nuts, and then Small just lowering the tempo.
It was a 7-0 New Mexico run before the Utah Valley 3. Set. Makes it a 16-point deficit for the Lobos.
New Mexico starting to feel good a little bit.
Handoff, Small with 10 to shoot. Throws up the runner and swishes it in.
I tell you, man, Utah Valley has so many players that do a great job of killing momentum when New Mexico starts to get it. This time Small in back-to-back possessions.
Mashburn rises. Bandego, aggressive rebound. Utah Valley is taking care of the basketball. Only 5 turnovers tonight. With the hammer! Oh, watch out!
Where did that come from?
$20-point lead for Utah Valley. Udeze tries a whistle. They'll count the basket. And there was a foul.
My goodness, what a sequence of events. New Mexico knocks down a 3-point shot. Tosh Small says, you know what? Anything you can do, I can do better. Knocks down his 3-point shot. Next possession, he gets a bucket. And then where did Tim Fuller come from? 6'9", over the top of 2 defenders and hammers it home. Utah Valley having their way with New Mexico, and I tell you what, Trey Woodbury just had the dunk of the year, the tomahawk down the paint, and I gave the wrong love. I gave it to Tim Fuller. Woodbury, please forgive me. That was all you. Beautiful play. The point guard for Utah Valley. He dishes, he scores from the outside, and Woodbury can hammer it home inside the paint too.
All smiles from the bench. We talked to him at shoot-around. He said he was locked in, coming off a season-high 29 points in the WAC semifinals against Southern Utah. 89-88 loss for Utah Valley. By the way, that game against Southern Utah, Utah Valley with 10:26 left led 66-50. They led by 16. Our score here tonight with 10:26 left, 66-48. They lead by 18. Will it be enough? We'll find out.
You know, that was tough on them. You know what I mean? They're favored to win that conference tournament. The WAC came up short. I expected them to be down in the dumps and shoot around today. They weren't, man. They're as competitive getting ready for this game as they are right now.
Harmon had it blocked in traffic. Here come the Lobos. Dick Leaner. Yes! +1, a blocking foul underneath, called on Neal.
That's what the Lobos do. They're among the best in the nation, top 5 in the country at free throw makes per game, 6th in the nation in attempts per game. Has not been a high number tonight, and they're only 7 of 15 from the stripe. They're below 50%. Not rewarding themselves, but they've left a lot of points on the board by missing free throws.
What do you like about this freshman, Donovan Dent? He's up to 9 points tonight.
Well, I mean, he is fearless. He's fearless. He was a great player. You talk about he was Mr. California as a senior, LA Times Player of the Year. He's fearless. Just took a big hit right there on the screen, though.
Absolutely clocked. An official's timeout.
He took a massive hit on the ball screen. It was a clean ball screen, but Donovan Dent got hit very hard in guarding the ball.
was no foul called on the play. Here's another look.
It's a perfect ball screen. It's unfortunate that Dent got hit up in it, but that is a perfect ball screen. Tim Fuller was holding his place. He gave Dent 2 or 3 steps to get there. You only need to give him 1. He held his ground, and you just feel bad for Dent. He took a hit. I remember years ago, Bobby Hurley of Duke getting nailed on a screen like that right about the same place, and he was down in pain as well.
Dent headed to the locker room. He's got to walk that 94-foot tunnel straight uphill. I don't know what the incline is, but it's steep. Shot clock at 10 for the Wolverines. Harmon. Jump ball. Arrow favors New Mexico. Lobos have a little bit of life with 9:32 to go.
I think they'll continue to attack. They're going to knock down some three-point shots. They're going to keep driving. They're not going to be this cold the rest of the game. This is beautiful right here. Great defense by Johnson to tie it up.
They have tightened the screws on that end since the dunk. Oh, that's incredible.
He knew Bandega was there, so he reversed to his left.
Fuller throws it down and a foul.
Utah Valley so quick to get the ball out of bounds. They give you no time to rest. Look, this is a beautiful shot by House. We can just keep this running. Keep this running all the way. Look how fast Utah Valley gets the ball and inbounds it and gets it up down the floor.
Fuller caps off the three-point look.
Here was the fast break and the dunk. Woodbury. They love to lob it up to their big men, don't they? They do it in the half court. They do it in the full court.
Coach Mark Madsen said that his team plays together. They're unselfish. And they are gritty. They've checked all the boxes tonight. Udeze has it denied. Fuller, another lob, and another thunderous slam from Bandego. That is the 4 to the 5. Big to big.
And it all started on defense. The block shot on one end, defense created the offense on the other end. I tell you, it's all about Utah Valley's defense.
Mashburn head fake. Can't deliver.
This is not his night. I've never seen him this cold.
1 for 13 from the floor. Harmon bumping. Spits out. Lobos pushing tempo. House step back 3. Alec down low. Udeze fumbles. Stays on this end with the Lobos. Nothing easy for New Mexico.
Not at all. Look how the defense is here. Fuller in great positioning, help side rotation, the block shot, then he goes on the other end, drops the dime to Bandego, who hammers it home.
Shot off the mark for Mashburn. Utah Valley will run some clock, leading by 18. They led by 13 at the break. Harmon curls, draws a foul, and if he makes a free throw, he'll set a new career high. We'll see when we come back. Utah Valley, an 18-point advantage here at the Pit. Welcome back to the Pit, the home of the Lobos since 1966. 5,326 feet above sea level. Richie, that's why you're so dehydrated today.
You're right. I have a hard time when I'm sleeping. They say when you move to an area with a lot of mountains, it takes a good 3 to 6 months to really feel back to normal.
Last time New Mexico lost an NIT game here at the Pit, 1989. They've won 10 in a row. And just to put the elevation into perspective, same elevation, maybe even a little bit higher, than Denver, Colorado, the mile-high city.
Well, how much more is the elevation when you got to walk up the 87 steps to the top of the Pit? to get you a Lobo dog.
I did not feel in shape today, not gonna lie. I was tired. A lot of heavy breathing. Udeze, kick out, House, yes. Just the second three for the Lobos, the first tonight for Jalen House, who does have 56 on the year. He's a very capable three-point shooter.
You know what's impressive is they have 40 of their 56 points are coming inside the paint. That's a lot of points down in the lane. Got to make some more of these threes to cut into this deficit.
Handoff Harmon, leaner, got it. New career high for Justin Harmon.
10 of 18 from the field, 27 points.
Had 20 at the half. Alec fouled on the way up.
And I think a lot of Harmon's play is, I don't think he was happy with how things ended in their semifinals loss to Southern Utah. He had a foul down the stretch that I know he wanted back. And then he had a chance to win it with a layup at the end that didn't drop. And you know that eats at you. Now he comes in here to the pit and puts on one of the best performances from an opposing player all season long. 27 points, man. He has just been playing out of his mind right now. And we talked to him. Fun, friendly, upbeat guy. And just love to see that. Now you're going to see New Mexico. They're going to put on a full court press and see if they get a trap in here. Great job. Almost a 5-second call and a steal.
Alec lays it in.
Keep doing that. There's a trap.
How does Utah Valley handle the pressure?
Well, there's a number of different ways that you can dial up pressure, but the bottom line is if you're getting full court press man-to-man, once you get the ball in bounds, however you want to do it, I'm sure they have a million different ways to do it. Once you get in bounds, just clear out. Let your point guard take it up. Unless there's a trap, you got to have some guys there ready to help with an outlet pass if you're getting trapped.
Harmon in no hurry. Shot clock at 10. Harmon lost it. Harmon heaves. Shot clock violation.
Utah Valley got to hang on. You know, they are giving up a lot of points inside the paint. And that's been one bright spot for the Lobos.
Johnson looking for a lane. Turnaround is good. That's a tough shot. 30-second timeout, New Mexico.
That's going to leave them 2 timeouts as they make this comeback down the stretch.
We'll be back in 30. Utah Valley leads by 13. Trying to slam the door shut.
For 46 years straight, more of you have trusted Ford F-Series.
Geico's been offering savings for over 85 years. That's longer than the Buffalo Wing's been around. Geico's been offering savings for over 85 years. That's longer than the Buffalo Wing's been around. Geico's been offering savings for over 85 years. That's longer than the Buffalo Wing's been around.
The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship first round starts tomorrow on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV, with coverage beginning at noon Eastern. For more information, go to ncaa.com. 13-point lead for Utah Valley in this one. A semifinal loss to Southern Utah. At this point in the contest, they were up 13. Trying to ride a different ending here tonight. They lost by 1, 89-88 on a 4-point play. Harmon navigates. Got it. 29 for Justin Harmon on just 19 shots.
It's been quite impressive.
Udeze wants a clear out. Was right at Bandego. Darthard's teardrop.
Push it, push it.
House motors up the floor for New Mexico. Into the lane. No whistle. Harmon lost the handle. And it poked loose by House. It'll stay with the Wolverines.
I don't know what's more impressive for Jalen House. Is it his dribble moves, or is it the fact that he has his mouthpiece halfway out of his mouth while he's doing it?
Look at these numbers for Justin Harmon.
Oh,
12 and 19, 29
somebody
points.
threw something on the floor. Come on, man.
Spring break for the students. Student section isn't quite what it was during the regular season, but they're still rowdy and engaged.
It's the Howl, man, the Howl. They call their student section.
Love it. The Howl with the snake leading the charge. Bentaygo rocks the rim. Technical foul after the slam. Too much taunting from Bentaygo.
It's a great pass by Woodbury. And Bentaygo coming down the middle of the paint for the slam. Now look, I want to see how long did he hang on the rim. It's okay if it's not safe. We couldn't see the finish of it there. But I think once he lifted his knees up a little bit, that's where they call the technical foul. Typically, if it's unsafe for you to land, like if your feet aren't going to hit the ground together,
Sure.
it's not going to be a call. But I think because he lifted his knee up kind of in celebration, making it a little bit more fancy, they called the technical foul.
Bentaygo has 8 points and 10 rebounds. Fuller with 14 and 10. The front line's been fantastic for Utah Valley. And then Harmon leading the charge. 29 points. Bentaygo with the rejection. One of the top shot blockers in the NCAA. Third in the country with 98 coming in.
I mean, look at all the block shots we've seen Utah Valley have, and they're still below their average per game.
They have 5 tonight.
Look at everybody just swarmed. 2 defenders going at him. Alec trying to take down his shot. Bentaygo got there.
House, a hoist, drills it.
Okay, pick up the full court pressure. Somebody burn a timeout.
78-65, Utah Valley. Less than 4 left here at the pin.
10 seconds to go. 3-point game. Neely, the handoff. Jones for the tie. Oh, he's fouled and won!
That was a heartbreaker for Utah Valley last Friday night in the WAC semifinals. Up by 23 with just under 16 to go. They were up by 3. They gave up an and one, missed the layup at the buzzer. Southern Utah wins in the semifinals against a Utah Valley team that many believe should be in the NCAA tournament. And right now, they're trying to fend off New Mexico, who's trying to make a similar comeback right now as we speak in the first round of the NIT.
Utah Valley led by this number, 13, with this much time left against Southern Utah. Woodbury, Fuller, 6 to shoot. Dartford lines it up. Out of bounds. New Mexico basketball.
All right, so it's crunch time now. New Mexico down 13, just under 3.5. Get to the basket, draw some more fouls, get to the free throw, and look for kick-out 3-point shots.
Mashburn lost the handle. Lead past Dartford. This could be showtime. He'll lay it in. Dartford pokes it out of bounds. 15-point lead for Utah Valley.
New Mexico has so many dynamic guards, so many players that can drive into the paint and they're going to turn this around and give the ball to Utah Valley.
Much to the dismay of New Mexico coach Richard Patina. How about Utah Valley's defense, though? Keep in mind, New Mexico, they average 81 points per game. 65 tonight.
Holding the 42%. Lobos just 3 of 12 from behind the arc. They didn't have any at halftime.
Mark Batson, he is always up and active from the head of that Utah Valley bench. It's been fun to watch him tonight. Woodbury, nice shovel. Harmon, 32 points, the dead eye from the outside.
Woodbury making plays for his teammates. So fun to watch.
18-point cushion.
Spread the floor, drive. Look at the outside rotation.
Udeze with the stick back. He's up to 18 rebounds. That ties a New Mexico NIT record. Luke Longley had 18 back in 1990. Former Chicago Bulls center. He was on those Jordan and Pippen teams that won all those titles. House with the steal. Ahead to Udeze. And he throws it away. Wild sequence. Third steal of the night for Jalen House, make it his fourth, and he has set the single season record for New Mexico for steals.
Before he set that record, you see this pass from Woodbury, the three-point shot from Harmon, and look at the excitement. He's fired up. 32 points, 2 of 4 from behind the arc, and he's made 13 field goals. You believe that?
Gets rid of it to Darthur. It's out of bounds to New Mexico, no foul. There's a look at Jalen House, single season steals record holder for tonight. Passes Hunter Green, who's the analyst on the New Mexico home radio broadcast.
Sitting right across from us. Back in 1987, he set that record. Hunter Green at 20. We averaged 21 points per game for the Lobos that year. 6 boards per contest, and broke the single season steals record. Jalen House now owns that record with his 3rd steal here.
This has been impressive. Utah Valley, how deep can they go here in the NIT?
Oh, I mean, in my opinion, they're a team that could have won a game in the NCAA tournament. This team, Utah Valley, it would not surprise me to see them in Vegas in the NIT semifinals coming up in a couple of weeks. Of course, they've got to get past the next game. If they win here, they play Colorado, and it's going to be on the road again.
Colorado escaped against Seton Hall last night, 65-64 at home in Boulder.
Colorado's had their fair issues with injuries.
Back in 30, 14-point lead, Utah Valley looking to close. There's Hunter Green. Jalen House just passed him. He held the single season steals record for New Mexico. He's the radio analyst for the New Mexico radio network. And then here's Justin Harmon, who's had a huge night for Utah Valley. 32 points, a new career high.
And he has been awesome. He has gotten a lot of buckets in and around the basket. Fantastic job by his teammates to putting him in positions to succeed. But man, look at these tough shots that he's made. He's made a number of those against a lot of physical players from New Mexico. He's knocked down a pair of triples. He is playing with ultimate confidence right now. I mean, to get 32 points on 13 shots, that is impressive. Look at that field goal percentage, 13 of 20 from the field. You got to give it up for the junior, Justin Harmon.
He's also dished out 3 assists, has 3 rebounds. He's played 33 minutes tonight for Utah Valley. They had won 9 straight prior to that loss in the WAC tournament semifinals to Southern Utah. Preseason picked 7th in the WAC. They won the regular season title. They're 2nd in the last 3 years.
Well, how do you feel about Utah Valley going to Colorado this weekend?
That should be a great game.
I'll tell you though, Colorado's had some issues. They got Tristan Da Silva, who's their leading scorer, 6'9" player, but KJ Simpson out with mono. Could be back this weekend. Didn't play last night. Hadley they have, another 6'6" wing. He's got a hand injury. Don't know what's going on with him. But some of their better scorers and better players at Colorado have been out. And so it's just a tough time right now during postseason play to be a little beaten up.
That foul was only the 4th on New Mexico in this half. So they've got fouls to give, trying to get Utah Valley to the line. Less than a minute to go. Utah Valley in control, up 14. Jenkins can't hit. This is a Utah Valley team that came in 25-8. They will set a new program record for wins in a season with number 26.
Utah Valley, I mean, under Mark Madsen, been awesome. He was the Western Athletic Conference Coach of the Year in his 4th season now at Utah Valley. In New Mexico, I know the fans here in Albuquerque are disappointed. But look, they've got a team that's going to finish 22-12. What a comeback, what a turnaround for New Mexico. One of their best seasons in the last decade. Their first postseason in 9 years. They're back. Richard Pitino has a good squad. He's going to come back with more talent. Next year, these Lobo fans are going to have a lot to look forward to watching next season.
Harmon will dribble out the shot clock. 14-point lead for Utah Valley. And to your point, New Mexico, you've got to remember that this is a program that just 3 years ago won 6 games.
Right.
22 this season, a 9-win improvement from last season. Jenkins pulls the trigger. It's been that kind of night for the Lobos. That'll do it. Utah Valley winners and advancing to the 2nd round of the NIT. 83-69, our final score. First NIT victory in school history. And up next, they'll face the 3 seed Colorado in Boulder. Here's a look at the bracket. There's already been mayhem here in March. Hofstra taking down Rutgers in overtime. Cincinnati held serve against Virginia Tech. Colorado by 1 over Seton Hall. But Utah Valley, the 7th seed, 14-point winners tonight. For Richie Schuler, I'm James Wesley. Thanks for watching.